And now it says we're going live, but it's still searching. Almost, maybe.
Gina's out there with my
Oh.
child.
It's live. I just got the notification.
Beautiful. Okay, we are good to go then. If everybody says we're live, we're live. And it's being recorded, so, and there's my beep as well. Okay, tonight is the 23rd of June, 2022 maybe, 7 p.m. And actually it's probably about 7:04. And let's start with roll
I've
call.
got 5.
Okay, hang on. Let's go. Let's start with roll call. Council President Wolf,
Here.
Councilperson McNamara,
Present.
Councilperson Camera,
Here.
Councilperson Bruger,
Here.
Councilperson Shrestha,
Here.
Councilperson Koss.
Present.
Did I miss anybody? Because it switched to my screen. 1, 2, Bruger. Okay, I think that was it. Okay, we're all here. Next, we will skip Pledge of Allegiance, if that's okay, and then move on to June 9th council meeting minutes.
I move to approve.
Second.
I have a comment on that, actually.
Okay.
Under legislation, and the thing of that is meeting to be held 6/23, 6 p.m. regarding fireworks and tress pooping. I assume that's just some sort of typo, but might need to get corrected. So I would be willing to approve as amended if we change that to fireworks and pet waste or what have you. Because I don't know what TRES pooping is.
That's actually what was
Trespassing.
used when they were describing it.
I love that. Can we call it tress pooping, please? That's
Yeah, that
hilarious.
is what somebody was calling it.
I can see what they're trying to do, that trespassing and pooping. I see the cleverness there, but I think for the minutes, we could just have dog waste
Ah,
or pet waste.
All right, we can have that noted in there as well. She will listen to this and she can get that done. But I think
Okay.
that's what it was being called in the meeting, just as an FYI.
We can
So that is, okay, so are all those, go ahead,
move to approve as amended.
perfect.
I make that motion.
I'll second that one too.
All right.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Any extensions or, okay, I think that was everybody. All right, so those are approved. We will get that updated on the website. Since this is a Zoom meeting, there will not be citizen comments. And just for the record purposes, we have had some COVID positive case, I'll say one, and others exposed to COVID over the last several days. That is the reason for anybody that is sitting at home watching this, why we did go back to Zoom this week. And due to the legislative passing of extension, we are able to do that until June 30th. So again, that's just why. So let's move on to legislation.
Hey, just 3 items on tonight, but lots of votes. Here we go with ordinance 13, 2022, an ordinance to establish a policy relating to investment of public monies and declaring an emergency. This was one that was brought up at the June 9th meeting, and was requested that we pass with waived readings, and we said no at that point. Just because we thought we didn't have enough time to look at it. We did bring this up in legislation, and no one seemed to have any issue with it now that we've had time to look at it. So I will move to waive the third reading on this.
Second.
Okay, I think I heard Jason on that one, so we'll get
Yep,
that.
that's fine.
And
Okay,
then,
moved and seconded. Any debate on that? All right, go ahead.
All right, Councilperson Berger,
Aye.
Council President Wolf,
Aye.
Councilperson Koss,
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara,
Aye.
Councilperson Shrestha,
Aye.
and Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay, having waived readings, and again, this is just setting up, letting our fiscal officer come up with a system for doing this. This is not actually us moving any money or approving any investments, which I believe we would have to do before they were made. Is that correct still?
If it's within the plan, I don't know that
It's
that
within the
is.
plan. Okay,
I would agree. with
okay. Okay, just looking for clarification on that. That being said, I figure the sooner the better we get started on making our money work for us. So I'm going to move to pass this as an emergency.
Second.
Was Jason.
And that was,
Councilperson Camera. Just again, it's easier, I think, to announce it in the meeting so she can take the minutes. So,
Mhm.
okay, Council President Wolf. Oh,
Aye.
wait, does anybody have anything to say now that we're doing that last part? Okay. Council President Wolf.
Still an aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger. Bruger, we didn't hear you. You might
oh,
have-
sorry, aye.
You're good. Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Tresta.
Aye.
Perfect.
Okay, that has been passed. So Resolution 2022-16, a resolution to adopt the tax budget for the Village of Minerva Park, Ohio for the year beginning January 1st, 2023, and to submit the same to the Franklin County Budget Commission and to declare an emergency. And I look here that admin is thinking that we're going to waive. We did have a discussion at legislative meeting this evening. The public meeting on this isn't until the 14th. Don't we have to wait for the public meeting before we pass it?
Yes, I'm not sure where any of that came from. No, it's absolutely
Perfect.
not.
So
It is
it's-
being read. Yes, it's just being
It's
read.
been read a second time. The rest of that didn't need to be there. We can move on.
Yes.
Unless anyone wants to talk about it or has any other questions on it, debate here at the second reading.
And the public hearing is at 6:30 on July 14th, right before the council meeting, before the final vote.
Awesome. That's what we had thought, and it was just written up weird.
Yes.
Okay, coming to our last piece for this evening, Resolution 2022-19, resolution to reject all bids for the renovation and addition of the Minerva Park Community Building and declaring an emergency for the public welfare in order to notify bidders. And I am going to move that we waive readings on this. For those of you at home wondering why, we received one bid for the work we were doing. That bid came in at 16.8% above what our planned budget was for it. By Ohio law, any such offer that comes in more than 10% has to be rejected by a municipality. We cannot accept this bid. We can't work with it in its current form. We want to void it as soon as possible so we can rebid, maybe work with that person, maybe work with other people, see, et cetera, et cetera. That's why we're waiving readings, or that's why I plan to ask to waive readings and pass as an emergency. So I will start by making a motion to waive the second and third reading of this resolution.
Second,
That seemed to be, that
I
was
waited.
Brian.
I gave people a chance.
Yeah, me
He
too.
did, he waited.
Perfect.
Just so used to you doing your due diligence. We didn't think we had a chance.
All right,
People are giving
moved
up.
and seconded. Any debate on this? Okay, go ahead, Mayor.
All right. Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson McNamara.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Tresta.
Aye.
Councilpresident Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, having waived readings, I will move that we pass it as an emergency.
Second,
Stacy, you have anything to say? You gotta say it, Stacy. You can't just put up the two fingers.
Why not?
because nobody can hear that.
Oh, man. Second, I want it.
Give it to.
There we go. Seconded by Councilperson Koss. Any debate? All right, go right ahead.
Councilperson Camera,
Aye.
Councilperson Trescott,
Aye.
Council President Wolf,
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye. For the record, I think it looks cooler if I just put up 2 fingers, but whatever. Nobody-
Councilperson McNamara
Aye.
and Council President or Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Okay. And that would be legislation, I think.
That's it.
Okay. Let's go straight over to old business. Does anybody have any old business they would like to discuss? All right. Anybody with any new business? Speak now or forever hold your peace.
There is a safety meeting
Oh, no. David.
scheduled, safety meeting scheduled, 6:27.
Monday.
Did I interrupt? I'm sorry.
No,
My
you didn't.
internet connection.
So you're just breaking up is why we were all looking at you weird.
Safety
Okay, I
meeting.
just didn't want to be interrupting my connections in and going.
Is there a
Safety meeting,
topic?
6 p.m. Is that right?
Yes, on Zoom.
Yes. 6 p.m. on Monday, Zoom, and everybody should have gotten the invite. If not, let me know because I really think I did send it out. Um,
Is there a topic? Let's just announce the topic if we have one.
I guess in general, is there a specific, David? Is there an agenda?
I
Topic?
have, yes, I have a couple topics to go over with the chief on just like, logistics of department supplies. And I know Councilperson Shrestha wanted to bring up something, or she was the one who mentioned it, I believe, but the ordinance on leashes. So those are the 2 main topics. If something else comes up, I suspect we'll have time.
All right.
I don't think I got an invite or my email's acting up again.
I will make,
It came out on Tuesday, so it might be a little bit further back on your feed.
yeah, I did all 3 at the same time. Same.
Streets,
Someone.
finance. I got a safety correction, but I didn't get an invite. I wasn't invited.
We don't like you. I'm just kidding.
Oh,
We do. I will make sure you get it. If anybody else doesn't have it, just let me know. I'd be more than happy to get that out for you guys. And I don't have too much. I mean, I could sit here and talk about just things in general. Jason, I know you're rolling on the pool, so the blue looks awesome.
Thank you.
I don't know if
Oh,
anybody has any idea what I'm
and-
talking about, but it looks good.
And just in case anyone sees this, anyone want to say anything about Pride this weekend real quick?
Oh, yeah. Nikki,
We'll have the diversity tree down there this week. I'm gonna pick that up from the village tomorrow. So that's something I was talking to Jason about. So it'll be nice to have that down there this weekend as well.
And the actual Pride is, what time is it? What day is it? Is it inside the confines of the pool? Is it outside the confines of the pool?
Outside 10 to 12. Lots of
Outside 10
vendors,
to
lots
12.
of food trucks. They got, I think it's Miss Gay Ohio is coming. Lots of other vendors and lots of just kid activities that they can get, to get the kids, that was the big thing, that they wanted to have a Pride event that was family friendly. So I know that Minerva Park Rocks, our group is doing garden rocks. So we're doing like, just, love quote rocks, just spreading some love. So I'm excited for that.
That's Saturday morning from 10 to 12 in the field next to the pool. Food trucks available if you want to bring your $10 and stay and swim at the pool, have fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be 91 and sunny on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah,
So-
You guys did a good job planning that weather. Good job.
I think it's actually in the pool as well, because swimming is advertised
Mhm.
on this for that as well. And I know John's already planning to be there and have lifeguards, so.
Are we planning on going early or doing anything, Jason, or are you just going normal time? I mean, I'm sure you're not gonna do anything until after.
Correct,
Like, when do you want me there? Just text me.
okay.
It's
It's not gonna be 91 and sunny. I'll be there.
Yeah.
you guys know I worry about paying money for the pool. Since it is 10 to 12, which is outside of business hours, and it's advertised swimming, does that mean you can come from 10 to 12 and sneak in some free pride swimming and then be asked to leave at noon or pay?
That
Yes.
would be my guess.
Yep.
Okay, because there we go. See all that clarification I didn't have, and now the 3 people who watch this, they'll know as well.
Yeah.
We should
Right.
open it to donations though, if you want to donate.
Yeah,
Sure.
all right, that was the only thing I wanted to make sure got mentioned.
Yes.
Hey, just, do we have any updates on, like, I know Mike Flickinger and Matt Group are working on how much a proposal would be for the lakes. What about the other things that the TIF money went aside for? Do we, amphitheater, any progress there? The maintenance building? You know, kind of what's going on?
Here's,
Yeah,
I'm gonna speak to that just a little itty bitty bit on top of it. And the first thing I'm gonna talk about is there has been questions about location of where the maintenance shed is gonna go. So I think that needs to be determined before we start going and trying to build a maintenance shed that, you know, council's all on board as to where this is planning on going. Because I think cost is gonna, we need to know where it's going before we can start determining how much room we have and being able to do a lot of that kind of stuff. In my mind, I know where it's going within a certain area, but I think, again, just because I have an idea doesn't mean that that's what you guys are gonna do. The amphitheater, there's been very minor work done as far as clearing out some trees. But as far as like an actual design or materials that are gonna be used or any of that stuff, we haven't really, we don't have complete solid plans because again, that's gonna be something you guys are involved with. As far as cost goes on the amphitheater, Eric did do quite a bit of work on that for planning and zoning. So to answer that question, and maybe that's something he could send around to you guys. But the amphitheater, there's definitely some cost estimates because again, it's just what we had discussed in planning and zoning. But council themselves haven't determined, I don't know that anybody's determined the exact size of the amphitheater or exact materials or anything like that. So that's all gonna be forthcoming to you guys as well. But as far as the maintenance shed, I mean, and maybe I should say this, it would be nice if we had an actual, and I don't want to do it during a council meeting, but it would be great to do an actual work session to discuss your thoughts on the lake, just because we're, you know, we're getting Mike Flickinger to give us an estimate on, you know, the master plan and all of that kind of stuff. You know, I would like to make sure that this is what you guys are really, you know, this is where you guys are heading. I mean, we can kind of give you an idea of what is expected, you know, the lake dredging and all of that. I mean, there's a lot that does go into it. And I think, you know, there's been some there's been some people that have asked, you know, where are we in this or where are we in this? But I don't, you know, I don't disagree with the fact that I don't know that council has actually said, this is what we're expecting. I mean, yes, we passed the money. This is what this money is to be spent on to start with. But actual details or anything like that, that's kind of where we are. I mean, you're asking the right question, but I think it would be nice. You're not gonna be able to do it on a Saturday morning work session. We used to do those Monday night meetings in between 2 meetings, and we would actually have another work session, and I'm not volunteering that in the middle of summer because I know I'm busy. I'm sure you guys are busy, but I would be willing to give up 2 hours, and I would say it's gonna be more than an hour, but probably 2 hours of your guys' time to sit down, go over, you know, what are you guys expecting? What are your priorities? What are your thoughts on the amphitheater? Would you, again, we've spent a lot of time on the amphitheater as far as planning and zoning goes and Eric goes, but it hasn't come to you guys yet. Same thing with the maintenance building. I mean, I'm envisioning a 3-car, I was just at I don't want to keep this too long. So I was at a graduation party. There was this metal building and concrete floors, and it was absolutely enormous. And the amount of money that he spent on it, and let me just say, this is like it was all metal. It was incredible. And the amount of money that he told me that he spent on it was shocking to me from the types of numbers that I've been hearing otherwise, because there were 6 cars in this garage. There were 16-foot doors. an entire graduation party with probably 100 people all in this facility. It was enormous, and it wasn't even over 100,000 with concrete floors. So I think we need to make sure that we're getting some estimates and we're doing our due diligence, and we don't need anything that big. I understand that we might expand, but just because I'm saying this, you guys are making the decision. So before we start getting 10 contractors out and hiring, you know, we could ask our architect to look into this. We can do all of that kind of stuff, but I kind of want your guys' input of where do you want me to go from here?
Mhm.
So Mayor, if I can add in, I have a few
Yes.
details. So if I may, so let's start with the amphitheater, because the council back on the on ordinance 6 there for this year, for the purposes of us to get our OFCC application complete, which is getting submitted tomorrow, along with everything else, allotted 85,000 out of the 100,000 that the state gave us for that particular fund. So that was guaranteed if the TIF passed through. Now, a couple things have started in order for us to proceed on it. One is that we had to clear out smaller trees in the back end of that so the mason could get to it to give us a proper, he gave us a base bid, but he was unsure of what damage or what else needed to be done because the dirt is right up against the back end. So we had to expose the whole thing. Mason, if he hasn't already been out there, he's due to be out there in the next couple of days, and he will be able to give us an updated quote. That said, there's a couple, as we did do some other quotes to get us to our $85,000 number. As the mayor mentioned, we will be back in front of you to discuss a few different options. P&Z obviously made some recommendations, which we'll revisit when the time comes, but there are certain questions such as decking, you know, or indoor concrete. Concrete might be the better solution, but we'll get into the weeds on that. And then there's also electric work that will be determined by exactly, you know, we have an idea, and we got an initial, again, base quote to kind of be able to do our budget for the purposes of what was allotted to us. But it may change based on what, you know, you folks put in there, and, you know, it could be more extensive, could be less. And we'll go over all of that, as the mayor mentioned, at a future meeting. That I assume we're going to have several different work sessions that will be devoted to one subject or the other as we move forward. Definitively, after we finally get a bid selected for the building, we will in all likelihood, engage our general contractor to discuss options for a maintenance building. I personally budgeted as part of our project and part of our monies, probably up to 400 grand for some type of prefab metal structure so that we can be within the line, something between 5,000 and 6,000 square feet to be located, to be determined. Although for our purposes of design, we have plenty of land over by the pool, and it would make some sense about how that would work. We'll get into the weeds on all of that stuff later. And this is just for the purposes of our conceptual work for designing a budget. So that's that one. The lakes, Mike is in the middle with his folks, as they have specific engineers that are on lake design. They will present you with a proposal. You will spend the rest of this year, when you get that proposal, discussing your options and finalizing it and engaging them to do that. And we anticipate, again, construction to be on the lake sometime in 2023, once you get through the design and approval phase. So that's what you have to look forward to. I anticipate the amphitheater, you know, given the timeframes of our, you know, our work and what's involved, will be done at some point towards the, you know, September, October-ish timeframe for 2022 here. So, and if we're really lucky, we'll be starting the building right around that time too, because several contractors said they could get on it. They would just have to get them to the bid as we discuss in legislation. So we see a lot getting done here in the next 2 years, and there'll be a lot of discussions with everybody for those projects moving forward.
Sounds like planning and zoning's been doing a good job keeping on top of those things.
There's some great people over there.
Yeah, I'm a little nervous at this point that we have 3 years to spend this money, and it's been slow. Even the process of getting a bid for the building has not gone very well. So I just want to make sure we're constantly moving on this. The other thought I had was, is there any advantage right now to kind of lumping these building projects together and saying bid on all of them? You know, maybe we can get a better bid. I don't know. It's a little
Unless you can jump,
piece, but
Jason, you're correct. jump from the 2 to 3 million point, which we're at now, to 10 to 20 million, that's the range of jump that you have to attract people's attention, right? Because some of the, you jump into a whole nother group of GCs who deal with bigger projects, and it is challenging at our level of just a few $1,000,000. And we say a few $1,000,000, but it's not, like I talked to the mayor about, one person that we've been trying to get bid, which is, I'll just say, I have a relationship with him, is Marker Construction. And I begged and pleaded for the last couple of times, and they're involved in a $50 million construction project with Coda. That's where they're spending their time right now. And a lot of these local guys are setting aside time, effort, things like that, because they are busy working the Intel back channels right now. All these big boys are out there, mid and up, are working to get into the business over there. And that's part of our problem too. So we have a perfect storm of challenges in our construction industry for Columbus because it's doing so well, so many neat things. It is unfortunately misaffecting our small, modest project in comparison to these bigger boys and what they're doing. So we'll get through it, I promise. It takes a little patience. We'll get there.
Are more interested in the $500 million Intel facility, huh?
Yeah,
Who would have thought?
and I heard today that was actually, some of those projects are being pushed back and being delayed because Congress didn't pass something that they were already expecting. So some of those people that thought they were going to start are now sitting there doing nothing. So yeah, I just heard today, I'm actually working with somebody that's trying to sell their property because Intel is getting ready to take over their property, and they're looking at properties that used to be priced at $300,000 for a mere $1.2 million because that's what they can sell them for now, because that nobody has anywhere to go that has horses. So it's a big mess out there, but they were actually told that their land being bought is getting pushed back because something to do with the chips and something to do with whatever, Congress didn't pass something and now it's being delayed. I know this is a public record. I don't know exactly what happened, but they were telling me today that whatever the deal is, it got delayed.
Those people work for us for a little bit since they're just not doing anything.
I know, no kidding. I mean, let's just go knock on some trailers.
Yes.
Let's go do it
I
today.
need your expertise.
Yeah.
The only thing that I
Our
want,
building.
the only thing I want to say is I really want to meet with planning and zoning, so like we can all sit down and talk about it together. Sorry. That's my life. So we can all be on the same page, figure out like, I don't know, I just feel like we need to have like one big planning session with everybody and say, okay, what do you recommend? Why? These are our priorities. This is kind of what we should look at, et cetera, instead of, I don't know. I just feel like it's
Let's-
better to have like a giant meeting.
Well, okay. I would say, Councilwoman, I said two things. One, Brady he's an excellent chair. Brian is obviously a liaison there. And so I think we'll bring this up at our next meeting and say, what topics do you want to bring forward? Now, there was a successful way of handling this with the prior council in which Brady brought forward from recommendation from planning and zoning, several things. They said, hey, what would council support? And council was pretty supportive of most of the things with the green space planning. And so there was that discussion. There's no reason, since we're getting into budget season, that we can't have at least something that goes ahead and talks about or brings forward to you what they would like to recommend. And, we'll ask them, again, Brian sitting here as your liaison, we'll ask them to, see what topics they want. We definitively don't just want to have a kind of I would recommend against having kind of a wild, unwieldy, non-agenda type meeting. So I think between the two groups, there has to be some topics that we want to put together so we have some productivity at the meeting. Otherwise,
I don't think it'll be a
wide
wild
open.
west type of situation. I just want to say like, hey, this is like what our priorities are. What's your input?
Yes.
Instead of one table.
And
instead of-
so if the council's got priorities, we, by all means, then I think that's a good idea and that can be the agenda topic. But I think the council needs to decide on what its priorities are to speak to planning and zoning, unless you've already got them and I'm not aware.
See, what priorities are you referring to that you don't believe planning and zoning has already weighed in on?
That to me.
Yeah,
I mean, no, I just want to have a conversation and I feel like everybody is like, I just want to see like, hey, what are your recommendations? Like, what are we talking about? Like shelter wise, like, where are we? Like, honestly, I just don't, I don't feel like.
Maybe we
I'm
can,
the loop.
maybe
not
we can have an
accessible.
offline discussion and just kind of go over some things. And that may help guide you if you feel that you're missing something, because I feel like
I
we've
just
done
need
a lot.
background.
Yeah.
I want to know a background. Yeah, because I feel like I'm like thrown into the middle of it, and I'm like, wait, I don't even know what the beginning was or how we got to this point. Like, I want to know, like, oh, we thought
Okay.
about A and B, and we decided, and we landed at C because like this is not feasible or whatever. So I just have a good like
Perfect.
basis of what's going on.
Well, how about this? Why don't I get with Brady? You and I and Brady perhaps can set up a time. We can have some coffee or something, and we can go through some background, and that may bring you up to speed, and then we can go from there. How about that?
I mean, I'm staring at Brady's house right now. I'm gonna text.
Yes,
him.
we'll set something up. I think that's a good idea.
But then to go forward, if anybody has any options to do a Monday night, Tuesday night, or a Thursday night between council meetings, and more of a work session that isn't solely focused on the following Thursday's legislation and all of that, I will say I am totally on board for that, because you even mentioned like the shelter house. Why haven't we done anything? I mean, I have answers for all of those, but I don't know that anybody wants to hear it right now, because we've had some really good ideas brought up from other council people that, again, continually moving forward on something that maybe council's not really wanting to move forward on. So there is a lot. I don't want to get into the weeds of all of that. I think it would be very important. I think it would be very beneficial for this group to get together and just kind of have a discussion about some of the big projects and their expectations, where they think we are, where we should be, and move forward in that avenue, because you guys are going to be ultimately the ones that approve this stuff. And I don't want to sound lazy by any stretch of any imagination, but continually moving forward on a shelter in a specific location that ultimately you guys may not want because you want something else, but you guys aren't telling me that you want something else is kind of pointless for all of us. So getting this council on the same page that I'm on and Eric is on, when we're working on these projects on our end, but you guys are not really expecting these projects because you guys are, again, been here 6 months. I would like to be on the same page. I would like for you guys to know where I am in some of those, my thinking behind things, again, like the shelter, where we are, what we're doing, and what I'm really waiting for. And it's really
Just
you guys.
I'm sorry. We're talking about, let's just.
Exactly. I'm with you.
So if we're looking, are we looking at next week?
Do you
Is that what I mean, I don't really care when, right? It sounds like there's an appetite for this, so let's just out calendars and get it scheduled.
does anybody have any interest in doing it Monday after the safety meeting, or is that like really pushing it? I don't even know, because that's at 6. I mean, if the safety meeting.
That would work best for me.
Yeah, that works.
Only because I'm
Monday after
already
safety.
there.
Call it a work session, slap it on Zoom, and has anybody got a problem with that?
No, my only thing is, are we gonna need like a couple hours or anything? Or
I would
can it be
expect
like
it
a
to.
couple-
I would expect a couple hours.
I would expect 7 to 9 if we do. And in that way, if safety goes over a little bit, it's not the end of the world. We will schedule it for 7, but obviously safety taking priority and then moving into the next one as soon as that's done. But I mean, yeah, I mean, we're all already here. I just feel like bouncing it to one of those days is good, especially now that we're coming up to 4th of July and all that kind of stuff. People's schedules are gonna be
It
busy.
sounds like that was decided. Anything else
Yeah.
then?
Hold on, can we invite
Stacy?
Brady to that? Can we invite Brady to that one? Too, for the work session? Is that appropriate?
I mean, I don't know if that's quite where we're at, but I don't care. I mean, if.
I feel like
people
I
want
just need a
to-
conciliary, like somebody that's like, okay, this is, this.
So
a good
I'll try it
idea.
again. What coming from planning and zoning do you feel you don't have information on that you need?
I just want background
Okay, well, so,
But on the what? The what is, I've asked you. 3
on
times
the
now, what
recommendations that we came up with, like, do we need a shelter? Why is it placed there? I just want to know. Is that?
why don't, again, offline, let me bring you up to speed, and then I think you can make a decision in how you want to proceed at this point. But I think if this best background you want, and then I'm more than happy to sit down and give you all the background you can possibly handle. For
Okay.
the past 6 years I've
I
been here.
guess- I guess my question is, why can't we just do it as a group so everybody's on the same page? Like a info session. type of
Well,
session, you
I
know?
would say that right now you're the only one asking for it, so encumbering 7 other people for your ask is probably not the best use of our time. If everybody else is asking for the same thing, that's a different animal.
Okay,
I'm not hearing everybody chiming in saying they're asking for what you're asking, so.
Yeah,
Best to
you-
handle your
I'd be willing to
situation
attend it.
one-off.
Yeah, so why don't we do this? So, part of it, we we have to do just 3 at a time if it's just going to be offline from a staff meeting standpoint, right? So I will send out an invite. I will get Brady on a time that he's there because he may want to attend and talk, up to 3 of you at once. And if we've got to do it a couple times, more than happy to do that to bring people up to speed on any history and question and answer session. And so that may be enough, and maybe you only need an hour. I don't know. I'm more than happy to dedicate some time to it, and we'll go from there.
Can I ask one more question, kind of old business? I'm sorry. Any updates on the Dora or
We're-
Decadora? What is it?
Yes, no, you've got it right. We're working through some options to present back to you. Perhaps by the work session, we'll have an update for you.
Okay, thank you.
That's what we're aiming for. You're welcome.
All right. Anybody got anything else? All right, move to adjourn.
Okay, second.
All right, everybody have a great night.
Have a
Bye.
good night. Bye.
Hi, guys.